In the holiday, when Cameron Diaz is drinking wine straight from the bottle in the grocery store because she's so frustrated, for being honest, I think a lot of agents have felt that way after this year in real estate.
So true. Also, that's my top favorite movie scene ever. But also when she's trying to fit into that tiny bathtub in the English cottage, that is what so many agents are doing with their marketing.
Right? They're trying to squeeze their personality, their life, and their expertise and everything they know they should be doing into a marketing plan that wasn't built for them in the first place.
Inside Modern Agent Social Club, we give you the space to actually build a brand and a marketing plan that fits you, one that feels fun, personal, and that positions you as the go-to agent in your community.
Now, we want you to make time for cozy nights at home watching movies like The Holiday, but Q4 is your runway for 2026, and our luxury marketing platform is the perfect place to start.
So get out of the tiny bathtub, pour the wine, and join us inside Modern Agent Social Club today so you can start 2026 with clarity and momentum. The constant trail you're building with your breadcrumbs. I'm just going to use a lot of food references today. You could be leaving cheese
Getting
curds.
hungry, yes.
Down your like yellow brick road of cheese curds.
But if I told anyone that I would get to like talk for a living at that age, they would have been like, that checks out.
But yeah. Home Alone 1 sounds scary. Home Alone 2 is like a luxury vacation.
How do I get more leads?
How do I stand out in my market?
Is it unprofessional to talk about my kids on Instagram?
Should I have one account or two?
Do I really need a personal brand as a real estate agent?
We are the Modern Agent Marketing Girls. We are two agents turned marketing experts who believe you can become the go-to real estate girl in your market all because you are you. I'm Chelsea Peterson, founder and CEO of Modern Agent Social Club.
And I'm Kayla Fox, Modern Agent's content creator. Let us be your guide as we talk about what it means to market your real estate business the modern way.
So refill your favorite beverage, open your notes app, and get ready to build a business and a brand you're obsessed with. Let's go. Happy week of travel and cheese.
That's what they call it. Oh my gosh. Okay, I have to tell them. So you guys, we were preparing to record this morning. We were trying to figure out what time. And Chelsea said, I feel like we need to keep it light today because everyone's just traveling and eating cheese. And I was like, you are speaking like a true Wisconsinite because I don't think everybody's sitting around eating cheese. She's like, well,
okay,
I am.
Cheese, leftovers. I feel like during the holidays, all you eat is cream cheese based dips. So I'm having this favorite things party and everyone's supposed to bring their favorite app. And I'm like, I decided to just let go of the control. I was going to say, hey, everyone tell me what you're bringing to make sure we don't have 18 dips. But then I was like, you know what? It's fine. I'm making a main. So that will be the substance. And if we end up with 18 cream cheese dips, let it be.
So be it. No one will complain about it. Everyone will gladly partake. I cannot believe it's already end of 2025. I know it's such a cheesy cliche thing to say, but the years, I feel like they go by faster and faster, especially when you have been busy doing fun things, which we've done a lot of things this year.
In business and fun.
Right.
Which is our whole motto, right? Our whole motto, if you had to boil it down to the bare bones, it is to build your business around your life, not the other way around. So that means you're having fun. That means you're not glued to your phone 24/7. That means despite that we teach social media, we don't want you doom scrolling and spending hours creating content or spending your whole weekend at open houses or whatever that thing is. So this year it was super successful. It was very fun. And I feel like those things should never be mutually exclusive. They both should coexist. And that's, I think, what makes it work, because when you're having fun and you feel at home in your brand and you feel like, okay, I've got this. Not that there is never, oh my gosh, if you guys could see our Slack messages, if you could hear our voice messages, it's not that there's never what should we do differently, or what should we do now, or what should we create next, or that's always a thing. You're a business owner, you're always going to have ideas and want to execute new things or improve your systems and improve your services, whatever. But at the core of it, you feel at home in your brand, and it makes it fun and it makes it easy to show up. It makes it comfortable, and that doesn't happen overnight. And we have more episodes coming for you in the next couple of weeks that are going to help some of those things. But today we thought we would just do a recap on what we did what we learn and then what you can take away from that maybe in your 2026 if you want to have more of that work-life balance next year where you're getting really good results, but you're also enjoying your life.
Yeah, exactly. And, I feel like there was a time in my life where I would almost feel guilty for having fun, especially as a mom. Like, you feel like, oh, this money could have gone somewhere else, or I should be spending time with my family, or I feel bad that someone else is putting my kid to bed while I'm at dinner with a friend or whatever. But when you think about it, first of all, that you are your brand and you have to like pour into yourself in order to show up and be the best. And no, that doesn't mean that you're like, letting everyone else take care of everything for you. It's not like you have no responsibilities or you never make a sacrifice. But when you view yourself that way, the guilt kind of goes away. And then you see that you're actually like a fuller version of yourself when you're present with your kids and when you're with your husband and all of those things. So I feel like I've been able to live that out thanks to you. So thank you. Thanks for
Oh, that
letting
makes
me
me
be on
so
your team.
happy.
But yeah,
I'm
but
so
being
glad.
able to be creative, to have fun, to work really hard, and then to say, I'm taking time off or I'm not going to look at my phone today or whatever. And that's okay too. You're allowed to do both. And I always say like my best ideas come when I have turned off my phone, when I've stepped away from work. And then I'm like, I need a notebook. I just thought of something. And I'm always like writing things down because that's how creativity transpires. So, but yeah, but
100%.
yes. So we did so much this year. I thought it'd be kind of fun to kind of recap, not for the sake of like glorifying ourselves, but like you said, let's point back to our listeners, like what this means for them, right? So the very first thing on my list is we started this podcast. I hope everyone has enjoyed it. It's been really fun for us.
We've said this, but it's like one of my favorite things to do in my week. It's one of my favorite marketing angles. Everything about it is fun, especially because a lot of times we get to hear from our actual listeners when you tag us on Instagram, when you send us a DM,
Yeah.
when you give us feedback or you tell us what you want to hear. Like that makes it really feel like, okay, this is real. Like people are listening. People are like getting these results from it. You know what's funny is you start something like that and you don't know that it's going to be successful. Now based on prior marketing things that we've done, we didn't think we were like shooting in the dark with
Right.
starting a podcast, but at the same time you don't know for sure how it's going to go and you also can't expect to get results instantaneously when you do something like a podcast or you're building a brand or like these are things that are like evolving over time. It takes continuously showing up. Like, the podcast where like there's so many where like all of a sudden they're gone or they'll take a break or they'll it's this new season. And I'm like, it's so unreliable. Like I can't get very into it because I don't even know if I can expect it to be there. I've had some of my favorite podcasts that did that. And I know everyone has their own life circumstances and it doesn't work for everyone. But like one of the biggest things you take away from the podcast and doing it, and now we're getting a lot of results from it, is consistency. Like whatever you're going to do it consistently if you want to reap the rewards. Nothing's going to
Yeah.
happen in one time or doing it once or like in anything you do. One email, one reel, one post, one story, one like it's the breadcrumb effect. It's the constant showing up, the constant trail you're building with your breadcrumbs. I'm just gonna use a lot of food references today. You could be leaving cheese
Getting
curds
hungry. Yes.
down your like yellow brick road of cheese curds. But
Yes.
that's where the magic happens is in the consistency. And yes, you can totally go back and analyze why did that episode perform better? Why did that have more downloads? Why did it seem like we had a bunch of new followers or people join after this episode? Like, was it the topic? Was it because it was a guest? Like, what was the thing? You can totally
Right.
analyze and improve and dive deeper and make it better. But like, you still have to keep showing up. You can't like wait. We always are waiting. Like, well, once this happens, then I can start doing that. Or like, once I get a better kitchen, then I'll start recording reels face to cam or whatever. Like, there's always a thing. What would you say about the podcast is like your biggest takeaway / what they could do with it?
First of all, podcasting, Jenna Kutcher said this once, how it's such an intimate form of like building relationships because as you guys are listening right now, maybe you're in the shower, maybe you're driving to showings, maybe you're doing dishes or folding laundry, but like just having that little voice in your ear that's constantly talking to you I think that is so powerful. And even more than that, because it's not like you have to start a podcast, but even more than that, it's getting people off the app and into this other community. And no, it's not like a community where everyone's conversing with each other, but it's a community where you're not being distracted by every single ad that's out there. You're not forgetting why you logged in to begin with, whatever, but you're intentionally opening up your podcast app, hitting play, and then like listening for as long as it takes to get to the next house, right? And so anytime that we can talk about that, especially like the last couple of weeks, we even mentioned like people are saying like offline is a new luxury and like people are like bricking their phones and all of that. So like, how do you leverage that? You don't want to fight it and be like, no, don't like keep scrolling because you're going to see my post. That's not what we're trying to do. What we're trying to do is to work with what's trending, work with user behavior and capitalize on that. And for us, podcasting has been a really great solution. Plus, let's be honest, if you haven't noticed, Chelsea and I are a little long-winded. We have a lot to say. I always say if I told anyone, not that anyone knew what podcasts were when I was in like 3rd grade, but if I told anyone that I would get to like talk for a living at that age, they would have been like, that checks out. Like,
yeah.
that matches.
The only complaints I got from my teachers was talks too much in class.
100%. Same here. So this is totally made for us. So
Yeah.
Speaking of which, though, before we go on to the other things, I just want to give everybody a little recap. First of all, if you are enjoying this episode so far, or if you want to know more like behind the scenes of our business, episode 39, we did everything we did when the market shifted and what you can do too. We got a lot of good feedback from that one. But I want to kind of run through just some of our top performing episodes, only because if you're like new here, you haven't listened for very long, you don't know where to begin, these could be really great episodes for you. So pull out your notes app or get a piece of paper and write some of these down. Our top performing episode so far, our most downloaded episode, was the content formula that changes everything, episode 16. That's where we break down the whole like modern agent content cocktail or s'more if you were at camp, and explains our whole process behind it all. But then we also, episode number 4, listen to this if you think your life is too boring to be Instagram content. Episode 17, basic listing posts. We don't know her. Episode 24, turn your Instagram into a referral magnet this summer. That is geared towards summer, but it could be applicable for like any season. Episode 6, your life is not aesthetic, but you want your brand to be. Our episode 15, trends were over, content we're loving. Episode 26, she built her dream real estate business without sacrificing her life. That was our episode with Chelsea Harold. And then number 18 was freebies that work, theming your days and content that feels like you. So, well, I'm just going to keep going actually. 22 is that your summer real estate marketing plan for ultimate consistency and growth. Again, it could be applicable for any season. But then I'm saying this now because the next one was your 2025 Modern Agent Marketing Report, which could be fun for you to listen to because we're going to pull out a 2026 edition in the next couple of weeks here. But those were our top episodes.
I have a couple really quick takeaways based on those episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Number 1, knowing who you're talking to in any form of marketing is going to help people know, like, this is for me, I'm going to stop and pay attention. So rather than creating this generic blends in with the noise content, getting into the brain of the person that you would love to work with or that you did love to work with and think, what would they want to see on Instagram that I could then match up with being a local realtor? Mm-hmm. So, and your personal life. It's like finding that like picture a Venn diagram, put like the thoughts of your ideal client and follower in one category. Like, what do they like to consume? Where do they live? What's their lifestyle like? Then put your circle of like, you're a realtor, you live in this community, this is where you sell houses, where you want to sell more houses. Then you have like, maybe you're a mom, or maybe you love your small group at church. Maybe you are leading your kids' Girl Scout troop. And then you have your crossover section in the middle and you think, okay, where can I match these up so that my content, even though I'm a realtor and they're not, can speak to those people so that that's who I'm getting in front of locally. That's one little takeaway. Second little takeaway is some of our top performing episodes had seasons in them. So this is called relevant marketing. When you lean into the season you are in or the time of year, or, oh my gosh, Taylor Swift, for example, like just using relatable metaphors and seasons in your content will make people stop because they're like, well, that's right now. And now I need to know what that is. And I want to know more. If you are always talking again in generics, this all goes back to specificity is what we're really getting at. When you're specific, your content sticks. And when you're specific to you, it sticks even more. So the third takeaway would be some form of marketing where someone can hear from you specifically, like not just graphics, like not hiding behind graphics or listings or sold posts, but you coming through your marketing. Now, could you start a podcast? Absolutely. But you could also have maybe something that you do is you record like a video training, and that operates as your lead magnet or your freebie or something on your website that people can see and experience, like that first touch moment of like how can they learn more about what it would be like to work with you, or that next step they take if they're ready. So something like that where they're actually hearing your voice, seeing your face, not just seeing social media content that could be produced by any agent in your market.
Yeah, I totally agree. This goes perfectly into our next one, which we redid our front-facing website. So modernagentsocialclub.com. We redid all of that. Funny enough, we both know we kind of need to revise it again because messaging is always changing, and it's always changing because we're hearing the words that agents are saying, we're hearing their pain points, and then that's what we want to include on our website, right? But that's just it. Like, we were so crystal clear on who would benefit the most from our membership, but also like who was stumbling upon our website and who was coming across our Instagram and all of that. And we could speak to them directly, like what you said, like using those words and stuff. This is like the power of having conversations on Instagram. It's not because you're always talking to a future client, but it's because you're always gathering more intel. You're always learning more. You're always seeing, like when you talk about like a home feature, or if you talk about even interest rates, or would you consider moving, whatever, just hearing what people say, even if their husband is an agent, right? Hearing what people say about that is going to give you so much intel on like, oh, that's what people are thinking about this, or that's what people are saying. And then like, you can include that on your next email, or you can include a little blurb about that, or even like something as simple as the reels that say like, "Oh, you look happier. Thanks. I got a dot." You could say like, "Thanks. I just showed someone why their budget mattered more than their interest rate." You know what I mean? Like just like those little things. Then when those people are coming across your content on Instagram, they're going, "Ooh, like that's exactly what I just said last night," or "How did she know?" or "How is she in my head?" That's how you can get more information for your content. So whether it's for your website, like what we did, or just for your content in general, your emails, even just like being in conversation with future buyers, if they're like, even if they're not talking about the interest rates, maybe you could even say like, "Hey, I know a lot of people, this is like their number one concern. Here's my best response to that." And they're going to think like, "Oh my gosh, she said it. I didn't have to." Like, thank you. That was kind of in the back of my mind, but I didn't even have the words for it, you know?
One thing I like to ask agents too is like write down the features you keep hearing your clients ask for, and then find like that common thread. Like, and using that in content, like what you're just saying, Kayla, will make that content speak so clearly to them. So we printed these newspapers and we did it for our photo shoot. And one of the pages we had it say, "Local woman needs bigger closet." And it's kind of just like a fun thing. But also, how many women wish they had a bigger closet? Like, raise your hand. And or if they have one, they're like probably showcasing it on Instagram every day. And
Right.
you're like, okay, good for you in your little closet, or
Right.
your
Big
big,
closet.
even your little big closet. Just kidding. But that's what, like, people relate to that. Like, I remember showing houses to a really good friend of mine and her husband, and there was this one house and they turned a whole bedroom into a closet. At the time, they didn't have any kids yet. And she was like, I could see people criticizing this choice, but for me, this is the best idea they came up with in this house.
Yep.
Like, so it's just like, again, it's that relatable thing, knowing who your clients are. And not that every client is the same. I mean, but like, what's the majority? But also, who do you want to work with more? So, like, talking about our front facing website, maybe like currently when we did that, like what we wrote for our wording wasn't who is currently coming in the door, but it's like, who do we want here? Who do we want to serve more? Because we know they're going to use this membership and get results, which is going
Yeah.
to make us look better because we know it works, but like they're going to come and actually follow through. So we use wording that aligned with that, and it worked. And the thing that we're missing now, and this is why like it's a constant evolution. Now we redid our member facing site, like their user experience, their dashboard, and now our front facing site is lacking what the new experience for members is like. And that really needs to be there, because talk about painting the picture of like, what is it like to work with you? What is it like to like when they sign up, or like just as an agent, what is it like when someone reaches out? Like being able to show that image to someone, whether it's visually, whether it's emotionally, like how you describe it. It's relating to them about that bigger closet feature and like, okay, I'm here to help. Like
Yeah.
whatever that is, like that matters in your marketing and that makes or breaks. Like it's not about posting 7 days a week or even 5 days a week. It's like how intentional are the posts that you are sharing and are they going to move the needle for you? Because if you're just posting to check a box or to say, okay, yep, I posted every day this week, but no one resonates with your content and it's not relevant in any way or it's not connecting in any way, you might as well not post anything. And that might be really harsh to hear, but it's true. And just with some really little shifts and simply like paying attention, asking more questions than talking, more conversations over me, look at my
Yeah.
content, but like going out and having conversations with people online. You can do this on Instagram and hearing what they say. Like imagine if you did, I'm touring neighborhood 1 of 3 this month for people who are looking for this, and this. And those 3 things speak to your ideal client. And then when you post that, you may have someone that says like, "Oh my gosh, well, I'm looking or I would love to be in that neighborhood." Like listen to the
Yeah.
things they're saying because when you're creating content from that perspective of like this is for the person who or I'm showing my clients this because they want that, like that's going to help people be like, "Yeah, so do I," or like I want that too or I also have that problem or that's what we're waiting on is like blah blah blah, like whatever it is. Like that stuff resonates, not the 3 ways to buy a house or funny trend that means nothing. Like
Right.
the stuff that resonates is going to be the things that are actually coming in the brain of the person you want to work with.
Yeah, I totally agree. You mentioned the new backend website, but I want to wait just a minute. Let's put a little pin in that and come back to it in a second because I want to first talk about the branding that we did because all while we were redoing the front-facing website, preparing the podcast, all of that, we also were like, I think we need a brand refresh. And we chose to actually do this ourselves this time for multiple reasons, mostly because we were so busy doing these other 2 things that we didn't have time to do a whole brand deep dive. So what was our philosophy behind that?
I think we really just leaned into like what colors and style felt natural to us. I did not at all look at like, oh, what are the other real estate memberships doing? Let's do that. Like that is honestly looking at your industry peers and doing what they're doing is the worst thing you could ever possibly do.
Mhm.
In fact, I just saw a post. I'm going to pull it up really quick. It was from Sugar Punch Marketing, and it was how to actually study competitors' content so that yours stands out. And it says like you're researching competitors to study what's performing for other accounts in your industry. It makes sense. You're figuring out what works so you can do it too, and it does work. The content performs fine. It
Mhm.
just doesn't stand out. And I would say one of the biggest problems that people have on social media, not just real estate agents, any industry, is that they look at their competitors and they
Mhm.
try to look like them. And it's the most harmful thing you could ever do. So our philosophy was we want to look nothing like our competitors. We want this is how we like envision what we want to be, but this is who we are
Mhm.
and what color reflects that. Like we say like build your business around your life, not the other way around. We talk about having fun. We talk about getting ready. Listen to episode 21. It was like Modern Agent Standards. I forget the exact title, but we talk about a lot of that in that episode. It was one of our like I shouldn't say that wasn't our top downloaded episode, but we
Right.
had a lot of people saying like this episode changed the way I think about how I show
100%. Yep.
a lot of comments like that. So that's why that number sticks in my head. But those types of things, like who does our ideal member want to be and like what is going to get them there and how can we create that in a visual way? And I am not a branding like expert or like a brand designer. I'm not a brand designer, but I know enough to have gone through working with multiple brand designers who do that for a living and the result never felt like me. So I was like, it's time to go internal. Not like hiring out something doesn't always like magically turn into the perfect version of what you're looking for because if you don't truly know what you want first, outsourcing it isn't going to give you the result you were looking for. Or maybe it looks beautiful or it whatever the outsourcing is, it looks beautiful or it sounds great or whatever, but is it really reflecting who you are and who you're trying to attract client wise? It probably doesn't if you don't first really know. So they basically just talked in this rest of this post, they talked about like take what you find when you do your competitor research and build your oh wait, this is strategy. Instead of creating content that looks and sounds like everyone else, prove that you're an industry leader by doing it differently. That's
Mhm.
And this post just came out like 2 days ago. But that's basically what we did. It was like, I don't want to look like them. Like, it is to the point where like there's so, and not to like talk bad about other memberships, like everyone does a great job. But I couldn't even tell you some of the names of these memberships because they all sound the same. Like they
Yeah,
all
look
just
the
blend in.
same.
And yeah. So like that's the last thing you want to do. Like blending in is the most harmful thing you could do.
Yeah. This is where, again, investing in yourself is just like invaluable. Like just knowing, I mean, we've talked before about like color analysis or even just like having fun or buying that sweater just because you like feel like it like lights your face up or whatever. It feels petty and it feels like, oh, like she just loves shopping or whatever. No, like this is what actually like makes you feel good, makes you recognizable, makes you stand out. Like those things are completely worth investing in. I had one time, I think I shared a picture on my stories of a pair of shoes and I said like, "Oh my gosh, I love these," or like, "These are calling my name." And someone responded to me and said, "If Kayla Fox was a pair of shoes, like that's exactly what I would picture." And I ended up buying them because I was like, "Yeah, you know what? That is true." Like people would see those and they would literally think of me just because they were like bright and obnoxious, right? And so just doing that. But again, this doesn't mean you have to do a total brand overhaul. If you want to do that, we would love that for you. You won't regret it. But it just means like being aware of like, is there a splash of color? Is there even a pattern? Like some people just like love stripes or love leopard print or whatever. Just like tying some of that stuff in intentionally to your content. Not every single piece doesn't have to be like your feed does not have to look like pink exploded everywhere or wherever, but just like dripping it in a little bit, making it more recognizable. Not only will you stand out in your followers' minds, but I think you're going to feel a lot better about the way your content looks when you do that.
It makes it stand out as you. Like it becomes this recognizable thing that you don't have to try or force.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Now I want to get to the new backend website. This was easily our biggest project of the year. It took the absolute longest. It was definitely the most expensive. Was it worth it?
100%. It took as long as being pregnant. So I birthed a website
Right.
baby this year. No, it was totally worth it because we needed to then align the identity we were creating for our members and the vision that we had for them. We wanted their experience to align with that level of luxury, basically. Like, so we needed a more custom experience. We needed more options for people to like log in and feel like this is mine. Like this is my dashboard. It's set up the way I want it. It looks like me. It has my picture. It has my name. It has my brand direction, like all the things that are in there. My calendar is mapped out the way I want it. It's not a content calendar that says post this on Monday, this on Tuesday, this on Wednesday for a whole month. Like that doesn't work anymore. You need to be able to customize it your own way. So one of our favorite features on it is just that you can favorite content, you can add it directly to your calendar, you can drag and drop it so that you can map out like this is what I want to share this week, whether you're picking a prompt from the weekly marketing plan or you're choosing a piece of content, but everyone should look totally different. Everyone should have their own version of how they're using Modern Agent. There should never be like a copy and paste. Everyone looks like if you've seen like back, it's been a while, but you would search something on Instagram and it would pull up like 400 of the same posts. And it was like someone's auto posting for these
Yeah.
agents.
Yeah.
In fact, I just saw this company who I actually really like for real estate market knowledge came out with a like auto posting feature. And I'm just like,
No.
no, don't auto post.
It's
Like
so icky.
it will not help you. It will not help
Yeah.
you at all. It will only hurt you. So,
Yep.
and it's just like stay in your own lane. I'm not going to waste my breath talking about that topic, but like that's why we wanted to give our members this customized experience, custom to you, whatever makes sense for you, whether you're posting 2 days a week, 5 days a week, you are more heavy on stories, you're more heavy on reels, like you have the ability to create your own experience and then your own marketing plan with what we provide. So I wanted it to be easy. I wanted to leave no gaps. Like we know we've been in business for, it'll be 8 years in May. So 7.5 years. And we have a lot of knowledge and data and things that people struggled with. And we tried to create the website in a way that filled all those gaps. Now you're still going to have people who don't commit, that they don't follow through. They're not taking their business or marketing seriously. And we can't do that for you. So that is, there are some things that are out of our control, but we tried to do everything we could to create the experience in a way that would make people consistent. And we even have recently said, like, log in every day, set an alarm, log in every day. And that's going to start to do something. Even if you don't do anything, but you're going to see things, you're going to start to learn where things are. You're going to start to be like, oh, wait, that's there. Like, oh, I could do that pretty easily. Or like,
Yeah.
I could start there. Or, oh, that's a cool feature that I could use. Like, you're not going to watch every show on Netflix. You're not going to go to Costco and buy every single thing. Like, we've used these metaphors before.
Right.
You're not going to use everything in our membership, but you have to find your own way. So simply logging in
Yeah.
every day and committing that to yourself is going to get you progress more than you would ever think.
Right.
So our new thing to say. What else would you say about that?
Well, I think tying it back to our listeners, like what all of this means for them is we tried to position ourselves as like the go-to hub, like the ultimate resource for anything you could possibly need for marketing your business. And that's what we did with the website, right? And obviously, like then we create content every month to put in there and refresh it, all of that. But that's what we want our listeners to be in their community. We want them to be that go-to resource, that go-to agent, that anytime someone even thinks about buying a house or even thinks about like interest rates or thinks about like housing prices, whatever, they cannot help but think of you. And we do that by teaching you how to not only make them think of you when they think of those things, but to also think of you when they pass this coffee shop or when they pass the library or when they go see this movie or when they watch Friends or whatever. Like the whole idea is like, how can we keep you living rent-free in their brain so many times that like the moment someone even like their coworker even begins to say like, my house is too small, they're like, call Chelsea. Like they almost can't even help it. It's like word vomit, right? That's what we want people to be like. I totally want them to think of you. So that's how I would take that from this whole website thing. The website was not about making us look good. It was not about us being like, look what we have. Like, not at all what it's about. It's about making us this resource, this hub, this place where people like depend on every day for their marketing so that they can benefit from that, right? It's not just so that we can grow a membership. It's about us being able to like change the lives of agents. So just like we want you to become this go-to real estate girl so that people in your community can buy homes with so much more confidence. Think about this. If people in your community, like let's say you help 30 couples a year or whatever. If you can help 30 couples a year within 5 years, that's what? That's 150 couples. 150 people have now purchased a home that they felt so good about that they know they're probably going to be making some equity or like cashing in equity on when they go to sell it, that they are able to suddenly like host their small group or they're able to have their kids' friends over instead of having them like, do drugs on the street. If I'm being like sarcastic here. But you think about like the impact that people have. One time I did the math on like ever since I bought a house, we've hosted all these people, whether it was like our families or the football team or the football staff or just our friends or whatever. We have people here almost every week. Thinking about that, I remember one time thinking like, oh my gosh, I have fed like 2,000 people. Like 2,000 people have left my house over the course of like however many years full and like hopefully having had a good day. Like that makes the community better. That makes the community stronger. So it's not even just about you growing your business and selling more real estate so that you can afford the house you want or that you can afford to stay home with your kids or whatever. Like it is about you literally change like this ripple effect in your community that makes your town a better place to live. Like that's the kind of calling we want you to like rise up towards and like be ready to like answer the call to, because like that is going to impact lives upon lives upon lives, generation upon generation. Like you are doing so much more than just selling houses or just opening doors. You're literally changing the lives of people in your community.
So I feel like one major takeaway from everything we just said is really to go deeper with who am I serving? What are they ultimately getting as a result? And like, what is deeper than buying a house? Like, we need to take the look at me, like they're like, oh my gosh, Instagram, it like gives me a headache. The amount of look at me content. It's like, let's like again, flip it around and try to look at others. Like, how am I helping them? Like, not just like, oh, good, another listing for me, another sold house for me. Like, no one cares. Like, you
Yeah.
need to ask yourself, what is in it for them? what is in it for them. Every single time you're posting, you're showing up, you're improving something in your business. Like, yes, it will in a full circle help you look better, right? But it's not just helping you look better, it's helping you serve people better. It's helping you make a better business and a better life for yourself too. Like that too, that is about you, but again, it's going deeper, not wider, not let's do more, let's go deeper. And things will work more powerfully when you go deeper.
Yeah, 100%. Hey, we have big goals for you to help you sell more houses, build a brand you love, and become the go-to agent in your community.
And we are working hard to make that happen, from preparing new podcast episodes every week to creating free resources to constantly improving the Modern Agent Social Club membership so marketing feels easier and more effective for you.
We also have big goals for this podcast to get these conversations into the ears of more agents who are desperate for that same transformation.
If this show has helped you this year, it would mean so much if you left a 5-star review to tell us something you like about the show. And when you do, you can email a screenshot of it to support@modernagentsocialclub.com for a free gift from us.
Another thing you could do, share our show with a real estate friend. You'll be their hero for sending them an hour of encouragement each week, and it takes less than a minute.
And meanwhile, we'll be over here brainstorming more ways we can support you and your business. Okay, back to the show.
Okay, another fun thing that we did this year, because, by the way, this is not normal. Like, just for saying so, this was the year that we were like, we are going to grow and we are going to hustle. And we've sacrificed a lot to do that. Not every year we'll have this many things. So don't be feeling bad about yourself if you're like, wow, I only did one thing. That's one thing that you hadn't done before. So congratulations.
Remember, I just said we are 7.5 years into this.
Yes.
So it's inevitable. And we had a lot on our plate this year. But at the same time, our next year in 2026 is I'm actually really excited. It feels very let's do some fun things, because top of my list is getting my colors done, and then I may refine our photo shoots a little bit and bring that into what I'm wearing, things like that. I'm gonna have a little bit more fun next year. There's not these massive projects, and that feels really good. And so that's business. Some years you're gonna do a lot, and some years are gonna be a little bit of a rest.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to be resting, but it is going to be, it's going to be different. And actually, I just read this email from Jen Olmstead from Tonic Site Shop. She sent the funniest emails. If you need storytelling inspiration for whether it's content, email, whatever you want, or just stuff to tell your clients, you can be hey, I read this email and this girl told me she lived on an ostrich farm. Anyways, her email was about how the Home Alone 2 is so much better than Home Alone 1.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
I mean, I love Home Alone 1 too, but I'm not going to argue with someone who claims that.
Okay, so here's how she described it. I am such a Home Alone 2 person. In fact, a week ago, my husband's you are way more Home Alone 2. I'm I know. I mean, okay, Home Alone 1, it's cute. He's home. He does fun tricks, whatever. Home Alone 2, he stays at the plaza.
Right.
He rides in a limo. He has a full cheese pizza and Coke or whatever. He goes to the toy store. He goes swimming. He has ice cream, room service delivered.
It's
why,
what we want to do with our time.
Why would I want to do Home Alone 1?
Right?
Home Alone 1 sounds scary. Home Alone 2 is a luxury vacation. So anyways, that's what her email was basically saying. But then she talked about how most sequels aren't good. And how can we make 2026 the sequel to our brand and elevate it in some way? And I feel I'm whoa, we did a lot in 2025. How am I elevating this in 2026? But I think what's cool is that we did so much that now we can kind of refine, we can take a step back, we can go a little bit different directions with things that need to go deeper instead of wider. So I think that is exciting for sure.
Yeah,
I forgot what my entire point of that was, besides go Home Alone 2.
Go Home Alone 2. I love it. All year long, too. It doesn't need to just be at Christmas time.
Yes.
Okay, the next thing that we did was we hired a new team member. So we kind of reconfigured my job description and added someone else, Randy, to the team, who now helps create most of the content for our members. So tell us our thought process there and how that has been so beneficial. Because it has been.
So Kayla, she came on the podcast with me. You've been with us for almost 4 years, I think, in January. So Kayla's obviously really good at marketing. She's very creative. She was great in her role at creating content. I was very nervous and did not think it was possible to find someone else. But at the same time, I was she can help so much with the growth and with just member facing stuff, like it's crazy because like if you're just starting out at a business, it feels super daunting and there's so many things to do. And then you kind of get to a place where like, okay, I got this, it's going. And then you're like, then you have another growth mode. And it's like almost like the more you grow, the more roles need to be filled. It's not like, okay, check, we're done. It's like there's more to do. And that might seem like counterintuitive to what your desires are as a business owner, but that's where we're at. So it was like, how can we have someone come in who understands marketing first and foremost, who understands Modern Agent or can learn it? And Randy, we had several people apply and really, really good candidates actually, but Randy has been a member for a really long time and she loves Modern Agent and she loves the marketing side. She's actually on a team with her twin sister, and her twin sister handles a lot of the logistics and the transactional stuff, and Randy handles the marketing. So like she knows that side of it. So I'm like, this is perfect. She gets it. She understands all the things. This will be a very easy transition. And I thought she was the most powerful person that we had anyways. So she is in Colorado. So now we are Colorado, Indiana, Wisconsin. But yeah, so she started in the summer and she was very quick to learn, very quick to adapt. Kayla and her work very closely together because she kind of took over Kayla's main role, but that's allowed Kayla to do more fun stuff with me.
Yes. Yeah. There was definitely a while there where I was like, there is not enough time in the day because we create so much content for our members and we always try to like outserve and like surprise and delight. So you never want to sacrifice on that. But then it was like, but we have to record this podcast and then, but we have to like revise the website and then, but we have to like, it was just like, oh, there was just so many things.
Do a B-roll shoot.
Yes. And all of it felt like it was equally important. And so it can be really hard as a business owner, even as as an agent who's juggling all the transactions, but then also your outward marketing, but then also like keeping your home afloat and like all of those things. And so I think it's not necessarily about like, oh, you need to hire somebody, but like, where can you bring in support? Where can you bring in someone or something that can help you? I have ranted and raved about Instacart for the last several years because it has saved me so much time. And yes, it costs money, but I always feel like I save money. I feel like I spend less when I order on Instacart versus when I go to the grocery store because I can look at my cart and see how much I'm spending and then think, oh, we don't need that yet. Or we do have room for this or whatever. Nothing is more satisfying to me than when I'm working in my office and I'm watching people put my groceries on my front porch. Like that to me just feels like the ultimate luxury. Okay. So it can be something as little as that, like just having like some help with that. It can be hiring someone like, gosh, like even like a house cleaner, life changing. I've heard of people, and this would be really fun to do, but I don't necessarily need it. But I've heard of people who hire like college age girls to come to their house like once a week just to like fold all their laundry, put it all away, organize a closet, run errands, deliver or return things or whatever. Like that could be really helpful and that wouldn't be that expensive to do. It's some extra money for her, but then whatever. There's so many things you can bring on board. Maybe it is hiring some kind of virtual assistant or some kind of transaction coordinator that can help you. Maybe it's hiring someone in your community, like not a social media manager, because we firmly believe you don't need one of those. But what if you could hire someone who you could say like, hey, the first Monday of every month, we go take content. And like, it's just a standing appointment in our calendar. And then like, you can kind of give her the pictures. Or maybe you say like, hey, these are the kind of like B-roll clips I want or whatever. Like, can you source those and just tell me what to do and what to wear every week? And then like, pay her $150 and then you're done. Like that would just be so helpful. So think about like who you can bring on board to help you. Maybe even think beyond like a buyer's agent or whatever. Like think beyond that and just think about like how can you get the support that you need so that you have the capacity to do the things that light you up, that you get so excited about,
Well, the truth is like wherever you're at in life and business, like you can only do so much. And at some point, something has to give or something has to be sacrificed to be able to maintain what you're doing, to be able to keep growing, to be able to support like the life you want to live at the same time. Like, but ultimately, you have to decide like if you're at that point where you just can't do it all anymore. Like I started with like, what is the thing I don't want to do anymore? I am burnt out from doing it. I am done. That is going to be, talk about like time is money. If I can have the time back that it's taking me to do those things, to focus on my clients, to create
Mhm.
better content that's going to paint the picture of what it's like to work with me better or whatever. Like that is so worth the time. And yes, it's still a sacrifice. Maybe in the moment you have to sacrifice going out to eat for a little while or one of the TV subscriptions that you have or whatever, but you're going to have to sacrifice something if you have the desire to grow to the next level or to keep going or just support the life you want, right? It's just inevitable. And it
Yeah.
can be little things. Also, check your credit card company for perks for like Instacart and stuff. My husband just told me our credit card, if you can like sign up for Instacart and the fee for it is free
Oh,
with a
there you
point.
go.
You still like you would still tip, but there's
Yeah.
no like, fee.
Mhm.
So like look into things like that and just try to work like smarter, not harder is like my favorite motto. But there has to be a way to help you get the support you need so that you can keep growing in your business and your life the way that you want. The other thing is like for me currently, my biggest thing is meals. And I don't know what my solution is right now. I've done like this Simple Eats MKE where basically like they do meals every week that you can pick up on Tuesday. So like you could do like it's mostly dinners, but you could do like a family size, then you'll have leftovers for lunch. So I've
Mhm.
done that before. But I feel like I was saying to my husband, I'm like, how much time do you think I spend planning our grocery list, planning what we're gonna make, prepping the food, cooking the food, doing the dishes? It's probably 10 hours a week minimum. Like
Right.
that's a lot of time. Like if I could have 10 hours that I could be working, that would
Yeah.
be more worth my time, 100%, if I could have 10 hours more that I was and I said on the other hand of that is, like, prioritizing our health, like, eating healthy foods, like, yes, you could get takeout every day, but
Right.
at what cost? Everything has a cost. So at what cost would that not only does takeout cost a lot of money, but now I'm eating probably vegetable oil and not organic foods and blah blah blah. So like that's not an option. So like right now my like mind is like what can I do? What is a solution for this? I don't know it yet. But like if I could outsource some of that in some way every week, I would have more time to do things like write an email that every time I send an email, I make money. Like
Yeah.
every like it's crazy. So you really like thinking about yourself. Like if you create content that reaches more local followers and you now have time to create that content because you outsource something or got help with it or whatever, and now you will have more buyer meetings a month and now you're selling more houses per year. Like it all comes full circle. Obviously, there are things that you could pay for that you realize, okay, this isn't working for me, or the
Right.
cost isn't worth the result, or the ROI isn't there, or I can't justify that right now. There's always that. Like there's always that for everyone. Like right now, like we've had things that we've stopped doing because I'm like, this isn't bringing the ROI or it doesn't make sense or we need to ship this. So like there's always that too. But like what is your thing right now that you're like, if I could oh my God, if I could stop doing this would change my life. Or if I could have
Yes.
help with this could change my life. But whatever is in the top spot currently should be your priority.
100%. And it all comes down to nothing is free. Something is always going to cost you something. So it's either going to cost you your time or your money, or it's going to cost you your sanity or your peace. Like
Or
it's
your
going to,
health or your
yes, it's going to be
stress.
any one of those things. So even you saying that, like maybe outsourcing your meals and like hiring someone or like investing in something to help you with that, it doesn't mean that those hours are going to go down to zero. It might go down to one, but like then it's going to cost you some money, right? But if that can buy up time, I know like oh my gosh, I remember one of the first times my house cleaner ever came to our house, I kind of felt like, am I like, I could do this? Like I work from home, I can clean my house, right? But my very first time she came over, guess what I did? I went to a closing and came home with $10,000. And I remember thinking like that was a better use of my time. Like I am better off going and showing houses and going and doing whatever than I am like cleaning my house and sweeping the stairs and picking up toy, like all of those things, right? So it doesn't mean I never do that. I mean, even gosh, I always feel like even the day after she leaves, I'm like, everybody pick up. Like it's time to clean up again because there's still a lot of people that live here. But to me, that was worth the investment. And it continues to be. Like she comes every other week and it's been the best thing ever. But something is always going to cost you something. Speaking of things that cost things, but also have a payback, let's talk about our freebies and ads because they kind of go hand in hand. We we created new freebies this year, which we kind of do every year, and we're in the midst of refreshing those right now. But then we also
I'm so excited for the new ones.
Oh, I know, me too. And we also not only started running ads again, but we also invested in an ads company to help us with that. So let's tell the people, let's, reveal the curtain. How has that gone, and what can they learn from it?
So here's one thing with ads. Some people think like, oh, well, if I gave you if you gave me $5 and I would give you $10 back, would you give me $5? Your answer would be, well, yeah. Why would I not? Right? That's ads. However, there's like a precursor to that, because before you put money behind ads, you need to have like proof of concept. You need to have like proof that whatever it is you're paying the ad to do. So to get people on your email list and your database as a real estate agent, to get people to sign up for a home search, or like I'm just thinking of the things that you would do as an agent for an ad. Before you do that, is your messaging clear? So kind of going back to what we talked about at the beginning of this podcast episode, is your messaging clear? Are you speaking to the right person? Are you like honed in on an area? And obviously there's a lot with demographics that you can't talk about in an ad for real estate, but your messaging being clear, like you probably couldn't do an ad that says local woman needs bigger closet. I don't know. But you can come up with some creative wording like, do you just wish you had a bigger kitchen? I mean, like, who isn't thinking that?
Yeah.
Right. So, and that's a book, which we're going to do a whole thing on that book at some point. But my point is having clear messaging. So if you have content that already is getting people on your email list, and you've already proved that that lead magnet is moving the needle and it works and it resonates and whatever, and you already have content that gets you consults, and you have people DMing you saying, hey, I want to book a Zoom call, or I want to do a buyer meeting or whatever, then you have your proof of concept, right?
Yes.
Like you have your brand, you have that to stand behind, and then an ad might make sense. But if you're like, well, I don't want to do social media, I'm just going to pay for ads so that then I get people, like it's not going to work, because people are going to see the ad, they're going to go to your account, and they're going to check you out. And if that doesn't align with what they're looking for, or it doesn't make any sense, no one's just going to be like, yeah, some random ad, give me a list of homes from Sally, whoever. Like maybe, but like that's kind of going into the route of completely cold leads that you probably don't want to work with. Like our goal again is for you to be the local resource, to be the local go-to agent like your people have a go-to. They're never worried about like going to a random open house or calling the sign on the listing or getting some cold person from Zillow. They have their go-to, and that makes them feel more comfortable in every decision they make when it comes to real estate. So like that's that going deeper mentality. But when we did ads, we're like, okay, well, we know these lead magnets work. We know these that our ideal client wants this content. They want these ideas. They want the B-roll list. They want the trending content ideas, whatever that we had last year. And so we put money behind it to help people get on our email list. Now you're paying per person that gets on your email list. In addition, we had a warm retargeting audience /ad. So anyone who has interacted with us at some point, they're already on our email list. They follow us on Instagram. There was a retargeting ad to join the membership. Now, one thing I learned about outsourcing ads is that you need to, it's kind of going back to the branding thing, be very, very clear in this is what I want it to look like. This is what I want it to say. This is what I want it to sound like. So we're kind of coming to the conclusion like they worked. They definitely worked. But I also feel like, to be totally honest, they're not super aligned with like what I want out there, and I need to take back some of that control. Do I want to? No. But at the same time, I'm like, I know that if I would spend the time to redo it the way I want it, it's going to perform even better. You don't like, if someone ever tells you like your cost per lead should be this much, like on a Facebook ad or whatever, I disagree, because I think the stronger your ad is, the stronger your copy is, the stronger the video with the ad or whatever, the stronger the thing you're promoting is, the wording you're using, the title of it, the cheaper your conversion is going to be, because people are like, and it's a no-brainer, right?
Right.
It's still going to cost something, but that money's going to come back to you when you have, and now this is another layer of this, when you have ads set up, you need funnels set up so that the people coming in through ads are then getting auto-delivered follow-up emails that are not generic garbage, but actually sound like they're from a human and make them get to know you. It's like content all over again.
Yep.
So this is a very deep topic, but this is like a massive needle mover when you're ready, whether you do them on your own or you outsource it. This current company we're working with is very professional. I'm very happy with like their level of service, but I still feel like I need to be more part of them than I am, would be the way I would sum it up. Is that what you would probably say?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. It is hard to find someone who can actually sound like you, feel like you. And that's one thing, like, I think about, like, the way that we create content for our members. We try to add personality to every piece of content that we give them, especially when they're short on time or they just have to grab something quick and post it because they're showing houses or whatever. We try to make it as easy as possible. But we also try to kind of make it fill in the blank so that they can easily add their own personality, because the content that will be the most powerful is when it does sound like them. Like, you don't want to sound like everybody else. And so that's what we've kind of just learned. Now, that being said, does it mean that we would never hire someone else again? No. It just means that right now, especially think about this. Think about every single thing that we just talked about. Did we have time to write ads and like figure out our
Yeah.
audience and all that? No, we did not have time for that. So even though like we look back now and think like, oh, I think that we could do this better. Like, now we have the capacity to do that because a lot of these things are checked off our list. Like, we've gotten in a groove with our podcast. Like, it's not as time consuming as what it once was. Our front facing website, like, yes, it still needs revamp, but it doesn't need to be built from the ground up. Our back end website is all taken care of. And we have a team of people who are always looking over that, making sure it's working. So we're in a place now where we can take that back on our plate. Beginning of the year, that wasn't even an option. So I think it was definitely worth it at this point. I mean, a lot of people, especially like people who have joined or people who've gotten on our email list, have said, I found you through an ad. Like, so it worked. It was completely worth it, But yeah, but it's all about just like understanding what you have the capacity for. Maybe there's a season of your life where you need extra help, and maybe there's a season of your life where you can take it back on and it's more powerful that way. It doesn't mean it was a failure.
Right. And sometimes you just need to refine. So like we're revamping all of our lead magnets. So like part of me saying like I need to take this back on is like in the interim until these lead magnets are ready, and these, I don't even like the word lead magnet. These free resources for agents are ready. I need to like make sure those are all fine tuned in how we want them before there's even an ad about them, right? So like there is like you're gonna have different seasons where different things matter, and maybe this is a season for you to dig into Facebook ads. Just like a quick PSA. I will never teach Facebook ads. I will never, ever teach Facebook ads. Watch Never Say Never. It gives me a massive headache. Thankfully, my husband is very good at it. So we have him, but he has his own business. So that was also part of the outsourcing. Is like he has a lot of other things going on, but he's like, I can help you do this. So anyways.
I love
Keep
that.
those things in mind if you are outsourcing ads, would be my best advice.
For sure. Okay, we have just a few minutes left here, but we have to touch on this one because this is another huge thing that we did. Camp Modern Agent. We talked about doing this for a year until it finally got to happen, and now it's coming up again.
January 26th is the next camp. Mark your calendar. Go to modernagentsocialclub.com/camp, and you can sign up now. I'm not really talking about it a ton yet because I don't want people to like forget about it when it's still a month away, but it is a month away from the time of listening to this.
Yeah. And our whole point in doing it was to gather people in a room in like a live event. I mean, it was online, but still, like, it was live, it was interactive, it was a lot of like, they could ask us a lot of questions and all of that. I mean, that week was so cool. First of all, once again, for us to get intel, right? We got to hear directly from the mouths of our ideal clients or our ideal members, like what they were struggling with. Like, what were they hung up on? What were we explaining over and over again that they were still like, what? And then when we said it in a different way, all of a sudden it all clicked. Like, that is such important information. So agents, you can do this too. And it might be in a different capacity. And it doesn't mean you have to like host a first-time home buyer class or whatever, but like you can find creative ways to get some people in a room, to ask them questions, to teach them a concept, even teaching them like the 3 things you need to do before you apply for a loan or whatever else it could be. It gives you so much information that you can use, but then it also positions you as the go-to expert. What would you add to that, Chelsea?
One of my biggest takeaways from this is, and again, this would look a little different for agents, but I have some ideas. We had a live chat on Zoom that people were typing in the whole course of each day of camp. And so I saved every single chat. I then put them into ChatGPT and I said, can you analyze the 5 days of camp? These are the chats from the 5 days of camp. And I separated them. So it was like day 1, day 2, day 3. I wanted to know what was what. And it gave me the most detailed analytics. Yeah. This is the summary of all the questions that were asked. This was the common thread. This is the hang up your people are having most. This is like so many things. So like one thing that you could do as an agent is, and I'm like, you would have to, we could do an episode on this because I feel like I could get deep here. But like you could do some type of a buyer or seller class. Like even maybe prep your home for the market. Like that interests me, but like maybe make it sound a little bit more desirable, a little bit more like, hey, even if you're not selling tomorrow, this could be helpful, whatever. You get, again, it's getting leads in this place where they learn from you, and you open up, you let people type in the chat, you let them ask their questions, you save that chat, and if you host this, maybe you host it once a quarter, maybe you host it once a month, becomes part of your marketing, and now you have so much data that not only does your class get better, because you're like, gosh, every seller has this hang up. Now you also have data when you go to talk to a seller in real life, you already kind of can anticipate what they're going to need, struggle with, be worried about, whatever. And now you're like this hero, not that you ever want to paint yourself as the hero, but
Right.
you are their guide. And you're going to make them the hero because they are going to now feel so confident about what to do to get their house ready or about what to do to buy a house or whatever angle you're going. You are positioning yourself as that guide because you're like, I can anticipate your needs before
Yes.
you ever tell me them. And like that is crazy, crazy powerful. I feel like I keep saying the word powerful. Come up with a new word, Chelsea. Did you see, this is a side note, on our podcast, we logged in and there was like a recap that it made for us of
Yes.
words we said, and it was like, agent, 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 ha, and like
Yes.
lots of laughing. Anyways, powerful is going to be the next one. Powerful, power. So something like that, where you're getting people in a room, you can analyze that data. Even like last week's episode, we talked about doing buyer Zoom calls instead of in person, because you can then, again, you could save that recording. You could take the transcript from it, put it in ChatGPT. What questions did they have? How can I better serve my next one? Blah, blah, blah. So like basically you want data. Data will help you fine tune your messaging, your services, your emails, everything you're doing at every client touch point interaction, whether it's social media, in person, at the closing table. Data is going to help you refine that. And you can use ChatGPT to do that.
Oh, for sure. And it kind of goes back to the whole thing with the podcast. Can't Mount an Agent was another way to get them off Instagram, to make it so that they weren't getting distracted with other ads or reels that popped up or a DM or a notification. Like all of that was gone. And it was just like, let's talk this through. Let's get super clear on this one thing. And I think that's why that was so powerful too. So yeah, hosting some kind of class or whatever is another great way to do that. There's a million ways you could go with it. And again, as we say all of this, you guys, we are not saying, here's your list of things to do this year at all. But maybe if there's one or two things that, as we're talking about this, maybe if there's one or two things that you're like, you know what, like I never thought about doing it that way. Or maybe that would save me a lot of time. Or maybe that would save me a lot of money. Like think about those things as you're entering your next year, as you start mapping out like what your quarterly goals are or whatever else, which we're going to do more like goal-oriented episodes coming up here in the next couple of weeks too. But just think about those things. And then, of course, be gracious with yourself, be nice to yourself. I know we're all like in a season right now where we're like, what day is it? Like, it's kind of just a foggy time of year. That's totally okay. But I hope that this episode at least challenges you to think about things maybe in a different light and to get yourself the support that you need, invest in yourself the way that you think that you should. And then, yeah, maybe at the end of this year, you'll be like, dang, I sold more houses and I had a lot more fun. And that's what we want for you.
Yes, I love that. Also, pick like out of this, everything we talked about, pick up like, or pick your North Star. Like, what is just like maybe one focus? Maybe for you, it's longer form content. Maybe it's getting people off of Instagram. Maybe it is just really getting clear on your messaging and not speaking as generically, like doing that Venn diagram exercise or joining camp and getting clarity around your personal brand. Maybe it's simply listening, like if you're in the car today or tomorrow, listening to one of the episodes we just mentioned as our most downloaded episodes, like which one resonated with you the most? And really going back and ultimately reviewing your year in business. What do you think worked best for you? What do you think you could improve? Is next year going to be your better sequel, or is like you're just trying to like level up even more from what you did this year? Like we're all of you listening will be at a completely different place, right? So like what is it for you? But either way, you have the ability to make next year better, even if it is better in the sense that you have more time at home, or I have more time with my family, or I'm going to spend less time on social media. Like I can be on it, but I'm not going to waste, like my screen time is going to go way down, right? So what is that North Star for you? Pick just one thing, because you can't do everything. This year was very odd for us.
Yeah.
But oddly enough, the things that we listed off, minus maybe like the member facing website, it all connected. It was we did the podcast, and then that rippled into branding, and that rippled into the front facing website, and that ripple, like there was a ripple effect. It's not like we're like on January 1st, we're like, we're gonna do all these things tomorrow. Like it was like we started half of this stuff last year in 2024. So got the ball rolling. We had the photo shoot. We did the podcast planning. We did the first couple episodes. So there's never a finish line. Like now is for 2026. My mind is going nuts with the ideas and the things, but it's going to look different. So it's exciting. And think of it like that. It's exciting. And you have such a cool opportunity in front of you because you have your own business. And that's the coolest part.
Exactly. Very fun. Well, Happy New Year's, everyone. We love you. We're so glad you got to hang out with us again and that we got to hang out with you. And I'll let you say your line.
Happy New Year. We will see you next Tuesday.
Bye.
Bye.
I'm so glad we got to hang out today. If you're as sad as I am that our time is up, I've got good news. There are a couple of different ways we can keep the conversation going.
First, follow us on Instagram at Modern Agent Marketing Girls and introduce yourself in the DMs. Also, we always have a free Modern Agent resource available, so check out today's show notes for the goods.
And finally, hang out with other go-to real estate girls like you and finally create a marketing plan that works when you join Modern Agent Social Club. All the details are in today's notes.
XOXO, the Marketing Girls.